Welcome to Snooze Tales Studio. Hello, dear listeners. Tonight, we have a gentle story to lull you into a world of dreams. Our tale is called A Starry Forest Walk. Settle in, relax, and let the soothing words carry you to a peaceful forest, under a sky full of twinkling stars. It was a mild summer evening when the forest came alive with a quiet sort of magic. The sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a sky brushed with soft hues of lavender and dusky blue. The first stars had begun to twinkle, and a gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, creating a symphony of rustling that felt like a lullaby for the earth. It was the perfect night for a walk, a night that promised tranquility and wonder in every step. A young boy named Leo stood at the edge of the forest, his eyes wide with curiosity. He loved the forest at night. It felt different, mysterious, yet inviting, as if the trees held secrets just waiting to be discovered. Leo took a deep breath, the scent of pine and fresh earth filling his lungs, and stepped onto the winding path that led into the heart of the woods. The path was lined with ferns that seemed to glow softly in the dim light. Fireflies began to emerge, their tiny lanterns blinking in a mesmerizing dance. Leo watched them with a smile, their glowing bodies weaving intricate patterns in the air. It felt as if the forest were filled with tiny stars, echoing the ones above. He walked slowly, his bare feet feeling the coolness of the earth beneath him, his eyes taking in the beauty that surrounded him. The gentle flickering of the fireflies seemed to guide him deeper into the heart of the woods, each step feeling like an invitation to explore further. As he ventured deeper, Leo heard the distant sound of a babbling brook. He followed the sound until he reached a small clearing where the water flowed over smooth stones, its gentle splashes adding to the symphony of the night. The clearing was bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, and the brook's gentle current sparkled like a ribbon of silver. Leo knelt by the brook, dipping his fingers into the cool, clear water. He watched as a few frogs hopped across the rocks, their croaks blending harmoniously with the rustling leaves and the occasional hoot of an owl hidden high in the branches. The serene setting made him feel as though he were in a world untouched by time, a place where only peace and beauty existed. Above him, the sky had darkened, and the stars shone even brighter, scattered like diamonds across a velvet canvas. Leo lay back on the soft mossy ground, his eyes fixed on the vastness above. He traced constellations with his finger, imagining stories about the stars, tales of ancient travelers, of animals that watched over the forest, and of dreams that floated high in the night sky. He imagined himself as an explorer, journeying among the stars, discovering new constellations and naming them after the creatures of the forest. He felt a deep sense of connection to the world around him, as if the stars themselves were watching over him, whispering secrets only he could hear. A rustling nearby caught his attention, and Leo turned his head to see a small creature emerge from the underbrush. It was a hedgehog, its tiny snout sniffing the air, its quills glistening in the moonlight. Leo stayed very still, watching as the hedgehog made its way towards him, seemingly unafraid. He smiled as the little creature sniffed at his foot before continuing on its journey, disappearing into the shadows. The encounter filled Leo with a quiet joy, a reminder of the gentle creatures that called the forest home. He wondered about the hedgehog's adventures, imagining the tiny paths it took through the forest, the hidden places it knew that no human had ever seen. Leo closed his eyes, listening to the sounds of the night, the brook, the rustling leaves, the distant call of an owl, and the gentle hum of the earth beneath him. It was as if the forest was singing him a lullaby, one that spoke of peace, of dreams, and of the beauty that existed in the quiet moments of life. He felt his body relax, his mind drifting, the worries of the day fading away like mist in the morning sun. He felt as if he could stay there forever, cradled by the forest, with the stars watching over him like old friends. As Leo lay there, he began to notice the subtle details of the night that made it even more enchanting. the coolness of the moss beneath him, the scent of wildflowers carried on the breeze, and the soft rustling of small creatures moving through the underbrush. He opened his eyes briefly to see a pair of rabbits hopping quietly across the clearing, their ears twitching attentively as they moved. The sight made him smile, and he felt a wave of contentment wash over him, knowing that he was sharing this beautiful space with the creatures of the night. After a while, Leo slowly sat up, taking one last look at the star-filled sky. He knew it was time to head back home, but he also knew that the magic of the forest would always be there, waiting for him. He stood, brushing the moss from his clothes, and began to walk back along the path. The fireflies still danced around him, their glow lighting the way, and Leo felt a sense of gratitude for the forest, for the stars, and for the quiet moments that filled his heart with wonder. Each step seemed lighter than the last, as if the magic of the forest had lifted his spirit, filling him with a quiet joy. As he walked, Leo noticed the sounds of the forest changing. The gentle rustle of leaves seemed to take on a rhythmic quality, as if the trees themselves were singing a song of good night. He paused for a moment to listen more closely, his eyes scanning the shadows for the source of the melody. He realized it was the wind moving through the branches, creating a gentle music that made him feel even more connected to the world around him. He could almost hear words in the rustling, words that spoke of peace and rest, of the timeless beauty of the night. As he reached the edge of the woods, Leo looked back one last time. The forest stood silent, bathed in moonlight, the trees swaying gently in the breeze as if waving him goodbye. He smiled, knowing that he would return soon, that the forest would always welcome him with open arms and starry skies. He imagined all the creatures he had not yet met, all the stories the forest still had to tell, and he felt a sense of excitement for the adventures yet to come. Leo took his time walking the last stretch home, savoring the feeling of the cool earth beneath his feet and the night air on his skin. He passed by a patch of wildflowers, their petals glowing softly in the moonlight, and he reached down to gently touch them. He marveled at their delicate beauty, thinking about how the forest held wonders both large and small, each one special in its own way. He felt a deep appreciation for the world around him, for the quiet magic that existed in every leaf, every flower, every star. With that comforting thought, Leo made his way back home, his heart full, his spirit light, and his mind at peace. He climbed into bed, the memory of the starry forest walk still vivid in his mind, the sound of the brook, the rustling leaves, the glow of the fireflies, all of it stayed with him, a gentle lullaby that carried him off into a deep, restful sleep. He dreamed of the forest, of walking beneath the stars, of the gentle creatures that lived among the trees, and of the endless beauty that awaited him there. In his dream, Leo found himself back at the brook, the moonlight reflecting off the water's surface like 1,000 tiny mirrors. He watched as the fireflies danced around him, their glow merging with the stars above until it felt as though he were floating in a sea of light. The rabbits from earlier returned, joined by other woodland creatures, foxes, owls, and even a deer that approached him cautiously, its eyes filled with curiosity. Leo reached out, and the deer stepped closer, allowing him to gently touch its velvety nose. He felt a sense of awe, as if the forest itself had accepted him as one of its own. The dream shifted, and Leo found himself walking deeper into the forest, following a path lined with glowing flowers. The trees around him seemed taller, their branches reaching up to the sky as if trying to touch the stars. He could hear the brook nearby, its gentle song blending with the whispers of the wind. The air was filled with the scent of pine and fresh earth, and Leo felt a profound sense of peace. He knew that this was a place of dreams, a place where anything was possible, where the magic of the forest was alive and endless. As the dream continued, Leo came across a clearing where a great tree stood, its trunk wide and ancient, its branches spreading out like a protective canopy. Beneath the tree, a circle of stones surrounded a small pool of water, the surface reflecting the stars above. Leo knelt by the pool, gazing into its depths, and saw not only his reflection but also glimpses of the forest's past, images of animals, of seasons changing, of the forest growing and thriving over countless years. He felt a deep connection to the history of the forest, as if he were a part of its story, woven into its fabric. The dream shifted again, and Leo found himself standing at the edge of a vast meadow, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. The meadow was filled with wildflowers that seemed to shimmer with their own light, and Leo could hear the distant sound of a waterfall, its steady roar blending with the gentle rustling of the wind. He walked through the meadow, his hands brushing against the flowers, feeling their soft petals beneath his fingers. He felt a sense of freedom, of endless possibilities, as if the world were open to him, filled with wonders waiting to be discovered. In the distance, Leo saw a figure standing beneath a tree, a figure that seemed familiar, yet mysterious. As he approached, he realized it was an old man, his hair silver like the moonlight, his eyes kind and wise. The old man smiled at Leo, gesturing for him to come closer. He spoke in a voice that was soft yet powerful, like the whisper of the wind through the trees. "Welcome, young dreamer," the old man said. "You have walked far to reach this place, and the forest has shown you its secrets. But remember, the magic of the forest is not just in its trees and stars. It is within you, in your heart and in your dreams." Leo listened, his heart swelling with a sense of understanding. He realized that the forest was not just a place to visit, it was a part of him, a source of strength and wonder that he could carry with him wherever he went. The old man reached out, placing a hand on Leo's shoulder, and Leo felt a warmth spread through him, a feeling of connection that went beyond words. "Go now," the old man said, his voice gentle. "Take the magic of the forest with you, and let it guide you, even when you are far from here." Leo nodded, his eyes filled with gratitude. He turned and began to walk back through the meadow, the wildflowers glowing around him, the stars shining brightly above. He felt a sense of peace, of purpose, knowing that the magic of the forest would always be with him, in his heart and in his dreams. As Leo continued his journey, the landscape around him seemed to transform. The forest grew denser, the trees taller, their branches weaving together to form a canopy that seemed to cradle the sky itself. The moonlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Leo felt as if he were walking through an enchanted tunnel, a passage that led deeper into the mysteries of the forest. The air was filled with the scent of honeysuckle, and the gentle rustling of the leaves seemed to guide his steps, urging him forward. He soon came upon a small glade, where a circle of stones stood in the center. The stones were ancient, covered in moss and ivy, and they seemed to hum with an energy that made Leo's skin tingle. He approached the stones, feeling a pull towards them, as if they were calling to him. He stepped into the circle, and suddenly the forest around him seemed to come alive. The fireflies gathered, their glow intensifying until the entire glade was bathed in a soft, ethereal light. In the center of the glade, a figure began to form, a woman, her hair flowing like water, her eyes as bright as the stars above. She looked at Leo with a gentle smile, her presence filling him with a sense of calm and wonder. She spoke without words, her voice echoing in his mind, telling him of the forest's ancient magic, of the secrets it held, and of the connection that bound all living things together. Leo felt tears well up in his eyes, overwhelmed by the beauty and depth of the message she conveyed. The woman reached out, her hand brushing against Leo's forehead, and he felt a warmth spread through him, a lightness that made him feel as if he were floating. He closed his eyes, letting the sensation wash over him, and when he opened them again, the woman was gone, and the glade was still once more. But the feeling remained, a sense of purpose, of knowing that he was a part of something greater, something timeless. Leo left the glade, his heart filled with gratitude. He walked slowly, savoring every moment, every sound, every scent. He knew that he was nearing the end of his journey, but he also knew that the magic of the forest would always be with him. The stars above seemed to shine even brighter, as if they were guiding him home, their light a beacon that would never fade. When Leo awoke the next morning, the memory of his dream lingered, filling him with a sense of wonder and tranquility. He stretched, feeling the warmth of the sunlight streaming in through his window, and smiled. He knew that the magic of the forest was always with him, in his heart and in his dreams. Today was a new day, filled with possibilities, but the memory of the starry forest walk would stay with him, a reminder of the beauty and peace that existed just beyond the edge of the trees. Thank you for joining us tonight at Snooze Tales Studio. May your dreams be filled with the soft glow of fireflies, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the magic of starry nights. Good night, dear listeners. May the forest of dreams welcome you, and may you always find peace in the quiet moments under the stars.